And just to make things interesting, why don't we bring in a few more folks who are going to join. We're looking at them right now. They're joining us from Spain.
Hello, everybody.
Hola.
Hello.
Wes.
Hi.
Stephen there. Jason.
Hola.
Hola.
Adrien.
Hola.
Buenas noches.
Hola. Bill, are you there? There's
Hi,
Bill.
hi,
Bill.
hi, yeah, hi, hi.
Okay, we're going to watch you on the screen here, and we'll let the audience take it all in. Wes, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, well, I'm sorry we couldn't be there. I mean, I would never miss the New York Film Festival for any reason except for shooting another movie. And we're right in the middle of this thing. We were shooting today, and we're shooting Monday morning. We're shooting a bit tomorrow. But this is the best we can do.
Well, thanks for giving us that little taste at the beginning there. You got a little sneak peek what the world you're in. But you know, for the last hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, we've been here in New York watching the French Dispatch. What's been happening there in Spain? Bill, what's going on there?
Bill?
Well, tonight was barbecue night.
It was.
Barbecue night, yeah. So we had a lot of barbecued meat. And as you can imagine, the people of Spain love their ham. They love their four-legged pigs. They love them over here. We had a great meal. We eat together at a big long table, about 45 people at a time. And behavior has been very, very good. There have been no incidents, no police actions. There's been no military coming to the town. It's pretty quiet. And I think we're making a very good movie, a lot better than that piece of junk that you just saw.
This was worth. This was worth it.
That's Wes. That's the movie we're here to talk about. So, if you don't mind, we liked it here, Bill.
It's a segue, fellas. It's just a different kind of segue.
I got you. Okay, so let's dive into it. Wes, tell us about Angoulême. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Where you set and shot the French Dispatch. How did you find the connection between this town that you created and or this town that you were inspired by, and the town that you created, Neuilly-sur-Blaise? Tell us about the links between these two places.
Well, you know, for years I've spent at least half of my time in France. So I've been wanting to make a sort of a French movie, and to do a movie where I could work with some of my favorite French actors, and to try to kind of, I don't know, I just wanted to use what I'd been experiencing for years, living abroad, as an American living abroad. And then I had this idea of I wanted to do an anthology that was based around this magazine. So anyway, we ended up finding this town, Angoulême, which I had never been to before. And it was perfectly suited us as a kind of a back lot. We could, all the sort of ideas we had for how to invent our own French city based on French movies, really, we found ways to interpret them in this town. It had and also we used half the population of the place in the course of that in the movie. So it became a big character and a big part of it.
A question for here in New York, Léa. How did you respond to? When you read the script, how did you respond to Wes's love letter to your home, to your country?
Hello, Wes. First, I don't think I've read the script. I think you've sent me just my lines, so I didn't quite understand the whole story. But it's. I mean, yeah, Wes loves French cinema, and he loves movies from La Nouvelle Vague. and so we share the same passion. It's absolutely it's beautiful. I have to I have to say that it's that Wes, you've made an incredible film, and it's a love letter to French cinema. Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny.
Jason and Wes, tell us about some of the early aspects of the story framework that you laid down as you were embarking on how you would tell these three different intersecting these three stories that are connected, but connected through this publication.
Do you want to take
No,
that?
you started off. You push it out.
I think we're all a bit groggy over here. I'm sorry.
Jason, Wes has been talking. You take over.
Well,
I could start.
I want you to start it. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like that's what we rehearsed.
I'll tell you. Yeah.
Let's stick to what we planned the whole bit.
You know, I think the first story we wrote is the one with Léa and Benicio and Adrien, there's so many different kind of inspirations that get mixed into it. One was strangely the movie, the Renoir movie, Boudou Sauvé des Eaux. Yeah, and then this sort of art teacher, Rosamund Bernier, was a part of it. That's Tilda Swinton's character. I guess each part of the movie kind of gathers together so many different inspirations, and some of them are French, and some of them come from the New Yorker magazine, and some of them come from other places. The interesting thing to me was when we were writing this. We did approach it as not as just one experience, but also as short stories, and that's quite a different form, and it has different kind of interesting surprises along the way. And it was very fun working in that way.
It really was. Yeah, I mean, you said my lines.
Yeah.
It was, and also just I feel like, when we would, each part of it that we would work on really was so, we would just forget about the other parts and become very immersed in it. And I really don't know what else to say other than hi, Bob Balaban.
Balaban.
And also working on it is always, it's a learning experience too. I feel like I learned so much about, it's a love letter to French cinema, but also music, and learning about the groups of the time, musical groups of the time. It's just all to understand and to be in the world of it. It's always so fun to work with Wes because you learn.
Adrien Brody, did you think about the art dealer character on whom the real art dealer on whom your character is based? Did you think about that link to a real actual person?
We didn't really discuss it. It's funny. It's a thing that is often brought up, but we have a series of cocktails that have arrived.
Duveen.
Yeah, Duveen, and Duveen is a.
These are the nuts for me. Are these my nuts?
This is the important moment right now. So you just hang tight.
Tequila?
And they neglected to order me a cocktail.
that's a
I just
mezcal.
want to point that out.
Do you want these?
Sadly, the same's not happening. Oh, you didn't get one. Sadly, the
Well,
same is not happening here.
I had specifically asked that no one drink before the Q&A, but that we should have drinks during the
Can we
Q&A.
give a toast
So,
to the New York
yes.
Film Festival?
Hey, cheers.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
NYFF, MF.
Yeah.
So if
You
you want to discuss about Duveen, I wasn't, but if you'd like to discuss Duveen, I mean, I think Duveen is a remarkable. He essentially created so much of the art world and created collectors in a sense, because he managed to inspire some of the greatest industrialists and incredibly wealthy people to have the preeminent art collection, right? And to have these works that are
that filled
priceless,
the American museums.
that what?
The things that ended up
Yeah,
in
the
the
things that ends up
American
in the museums, and
so many went through
yeah.
his hands. Yeah.
Right.
But also the other thing we think about is S.N. Berman, who wrote that piece about Duveen that Eugene is referring to, is a great New Yorker writer and really entertaining and part of the world that the whole movie is about, as well as his subject.
Mm-hmm.
So that piece sort of encapsulates part of what the movie is wanting to be about, I guess, for me.
Yeah, but I grew up in New York, and it's kind of an amalgamation of a lot of stuff and influences and characters and gallerists, dealers that I've also encountered. I mean, Cadazio's his own man, but
people from then and now.
From then and now, and
I don't actually know when then is. I'm not sure when this movie is set.
Oh my.
1920, 50, 70.
Yes, there's a 75-year period during which
I love the
50.
stuff. There is a reference that the uncles and brothers of what is the original book? There is his brothers and
the Duveen brothers.
Duveen.
The
What was
Duveen
their
brothers.
What was their shop called?
Well, first they sold Delft, I think. They sold pottery.
I know they sold rugs and antiquities, etc.
Yeah.
But they were called
The father sold
Duveen
Delft.
brothers,
Yes.
and whatever. So we became the
Cadazio.
Cadazio
Yes,
uncles.
Cadazio
I love
uncles.
that. That's
Yes,
amazing.
Yes. Okay.
Anyway.
Does that answer?
So we'll
It's 2 a.m. here.
take a sip. They're in Spain. Take a sip of your cocktail.
Good decision to drink during as opposed to before, Wes. Good call.
Bob Balaban got a shout out from Spain there. Bob, hello. So
Lois.
Oh, and congratulations to
Yes.
Lois won a Tony.
Congratulations, Lois.
Lois Smith, Tony Award winner. Congratulations. Let me start with Bob, and I'll come. And Bob, simple question: what keeps you coming back to work with Wes?
The fear that if you don't keep coming back, you won't get asked again.
He said he's afraid you won't ask him back, Wes. If he doesn't say yes,
that was the silly answer.
Well,
The
I
real
think that
answer is it's a joy to be around this.
Got a real answer. Hold on.
Yes.
Let him give you a real answer.
It's a joy.
There you go.
But it is good to say yes if you like it, because it's frustrating when people say no, and you do want to. It's particularly encouraging when you have people who want to come back again. So many people on that stage I've worked with more than once and love having back.
I'm going to ask a question here in New York to Lois Smith. Got the shout out for her Tony Award. Congratulations again. Lois, I understand you were born in Topeka, Kansas. So I wonder if at least creatively speaking, this role feels like a little bit of a homecoming playing Ma Clampett.
Well, there was the Kansas, and that was about where it began and ended as a real connection. Wes spoke to me about the hillbilly talk. Then he realized that they didn't talk hillbilly in Kansas, but that was no barrier.
We can do it anyway.
Jeffrey Wright, I believe I read that your character fuses or is inspired by a few different people. I mean, James Baldwin we see, but A.J. Liebling. How did it help you, or did it help you to have these reference points as a place to start from? And what kind of conversations did you and Wes have about what you're bringing in from other folks and what's coming from outside?
The influence was was pretty heavy. I mean, because I was trying to justify, who this guy was, and so Baldwin was really a great window onto that in terms of his being, an expat in France at the time, although the Baldwin wasn't in Ennui-sur-Blasé, as I understand it. But I wanted to understand how it was that this man at that time, black man, gay man, American winds up there. And so Baldwin was really the justification for that. And also in terms of the way that he kind of presents himself, obviously this kind of Dick Cavett-like setting speaks to, some of what Baldwin was about. But I mean, that really was it for me. He's not James Baldwin. He's kind of a Frankensteinian, mix, as you say, of him, of A.G. Liebling, which is really where a lot of the language around food comes from, and the irony, around the language, which I was drawn to. I was really drawing from the script more so than anything, but using the other references just as a pathway. I just fell in love with the language of this story and the beauty of it, and the poetry and the music, and I just couldn't get it out of my head. And that really became the inspiration. So that came from from Wes and from Jason and from Roman. I mean, it was just it was like a song I couldn't get out of my head once I heard it on the radio. It just stayed with me. Yeah, Wes talked a little bit about Tennessee Williams as well. And there may be like half a teaspoon of Tennessee Williams there somewhere. I forgot to put a whole, handful in, but yeah, it was trying to use these non-fictional references to make a fictional Frankensteinian version of something that really has nothing to do with any of them in whole, but only in parts. Yeah.
Stephen, there in Spain, kind of a similar question for you. Were there real folks who you and Wes talked about as anchors for Nescafé? Tell us about that, the conversations that the two of you had.
First of all, I want to say hi to my wife and kids who are in the audience. Kelly, Owen, and Eli. Well, Wes shared with me a picture of Tsuguharu Fujita, which was a visual reference for my hair, which was the same haircut I had when I was a kid, which was a bowl cut. So that was kind of like the starting point. But I did share with Wes that I was inspired by, there is a chef that was profiled on Chef's Table. She is a Buddhist nun named Jung Kwan. And I was inspired by her, and she kind of became my inspiration for Nescafé. In terms of Nescafé's, was almost like a monk, and was so devoted to being a chef that's all he did. And so it was a very there's a kind of loneliness about this character, and a single-mindedness about this character, and a devotion. So there was a lot of he had a lot of heart, and I think that he poured all of his love through his food. And I kind of felt like that was inspired by this particular chef, Jung Kwan.
Do we have cocktails coming, or
I don't think we do. Gwen's giving us the 5-minute warning, and I don't think there's cocktails attached to it.
No
is there
cocktails,
no,
Gwen?
Seems there is not. We can do that after. Anjelica here in New York. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Give us a window into the experience of making this film from your vantage point.
Wow. So let's just start off with intimidation was the main thing. I wasn't allowed to read the audition going in for this, so which never happened. So I went in cold. I got 15 minutes to prepare, and I actually wanted to tell my agent no when she told me that she got this audition for me. I was like, no. But yeah, just from that point on, sort of just there was like this air of like high professionalism and stature to be working with all these people, and it was genuinely just a masterclass in movie making and working with Bill and Jeffrey and everybody. Tilda, I would like look over at Bill and be like, did I do it after Wes would yell cut? So it was like, I want to say it was like a family, but it was like really like a family up there. So yeah, I'm nervous.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, back to Spain on the left, far left of the screen as we're looking. Is that Jeremy Dawson?
Yeah.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, guys.
Jeremy, we just got a couple more minutes left, but it sort of builds on what I was just asking Anjelica, and maybe if you could paint a picture as the producer of the film, paint a picture for us of the experience of shooting this film. I understand it's a giant warehouse, a studio space outside of Angoulême. Is that true, or where was help us understand the production process?
I guess the way we usually try to work is we try and get the troupe together.
Yeah.
We take over like a hotel somewhere where we can all live, and we hope that everything we're going to shoot is within like 480 seconds of that hotel in terms of transportation time. So that means we're shooting down the street in front of the hotel, the church across the street, the plaza over the road. And we also found a warehouse kind of that was an old factory that we built a lot of sets in. But the movie was kind of a hybrid of sets we built and locations we found and built things onto. So you get, a cool little street corner, and then we might build a building on a sort of Tati-esque building on top of another building. And that was where we were sort of enjoying Angoulême and enjoying the fruits of what Wes and Adam kind of came up with. But in general, what we tried to do is turn the whole town into our little universe, and all these people kind of lived there, ate there, existed there. And I think I couldn't really go to Angoulême without sort of seeing it as the movie. And I think that's sort of the way that we try and make these things, because we take a little bit of what was there and a little bit of what we can add, and hopefully the mixture is something that no one's seen before, but we didn't think of before we got there. That makes sense.
Very good, Jeremy.
I only had half of the mezcal, so.
Nice. We're almost out of time here, but Bill Murray, what am I forgetting to ask? Tell us something that we're missing.
Well, we didn't really get to say hi to everybody. I think we should all say hi to Jeffrey and to Léa. Hi,
There,
Léa.
Bill.
Hey.
Long time no see. Bob, good to see you. Lois, always wonderful to see you. And Anjelica, you spoke very well for your first time on the stage at the New York Film.
Oh God, no, I didn't. I ruined it.
Now, there are other films that will ruin the festival for all of us.
That I think that moment has just been tweeted and retweeted as we get ready to sign off from New York and head into another screening. But everyone, in all seriousness, congratulations on such a beautiful film. It was so special for us to gather 1,100 people in Alice Tully Hall to watch your movie on this giant screen tonight. It was really meaningful to us. So thank you for staying up late with your cocktails to be with us.
Our pleasure. We love Alice Tully Hall and all the people in it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
We
very
wish
much.
we were there.
Thank
We wish
you.
we were there
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, it would have been.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.